One top tip is hard because there's so many great tips that you could give to someone who's moving, but I think for folks who are going on assignment or relocating, it's really important the aspect around the family support and who the family is and who's moving with them. And I think you just can't underestimate the importance and the success of that. So whatever kind of support you can provide for the family, including your furry family, I think is critical to success.
So for me, global mobility is that function that moves the people that move the world. And I've said this a number of times, and I think it's actually resonated to individuals many times over. What I mean by that, essentially, we are moving and finding and mobilizing the resources, individuals that are extremely talented and are out there working for organizations that are delivering products and services that affect every person on this planet. I think I once described my experience of actually supporting the global mobility community for a project related to an organization's SAP global rollout. And this particular organization actually produces products that are in our cupboards and in our fridges every day. And in some small way, I feel that as a global mobility function, I supported that particular rollout and essentially impacted consumers all over the world. Global mobility is far outreaching, and I think it's an important area of business that often is probably not known and somewhat overlooked. But essentially, we are helping to move talent around the world, and these individuals are making significant impacts in organizations and in the lives of all of our population.
When making global mobility policies, my one top tip would be, let us not forget this is for people, let us keep it human. Of course, compliance, cost control are all very important. However, policies that are flexible, clear, empathetic to the employee and their experience they're going through while moving across border, this will always result in higher engagement, and I can promise in fewer exceptions. So in other words, we should think of global mobilities in terms of the very famous and popular these days UX experience or employee experience design. So specifically for mobility, people need to understand and feel supported.
I always put myself in the employee shoes and read the policy through their eyes, not mine as a GM or HR professional. If something sounds too jargon heavy or makes me raise an eyebrow, I know it won't land well with someone who's about to uproot their entire life in these countries. So I rephrase, simplify, and make sure the tone feels supportive and not robotic. After all, clarity builds trust. And if the employee understands what's in it for them and what is expected from them, I guess that's half the battle won. The rest is just good structuring and consistent alignment with the business goal.
So my top tip was always bring a coat, because the climate is very different from being in India to the UK. So, you know, it might seem obvious, but it was always just something that I would say as a top tip. Make sure you bring a nice thick coat, especially if their assignment was coming to the UK during the winter months. And I would also say, you know, maybe bring a good waterproof jacket as well, because, you know, we could always have lots of rain as well.
Prepare not just only the logistics, but culture is very important. Training and pre-departure briefing can significantly improve the success of an assignment. So actually, sometimes when we are sometimes too busy to handle the operation part, and we are not considering the employee culture training, and it's very important for the success of the assignment.
My top tip when moving is expect delays and that something will go wrong. I'm here to navigate when it happens, but no amount of preparation will take away the fact that someone who's moving is going to experience an obstacle.
Patience. Patience for every part of the process. Right now, we are pretty focused in the industry, and this is something that it's one of the things that I have been talking about for the last year. It's about this difference, or not difference, but this interaction of the client satisfaction or client focus approach to what actually is happening.
My one tip for moving assignees is to not forget cultural training, not only for the employee, but also for the receiving manager. I think it's often overlooked and super critical for the success of the assignment, regardless of the location.
Global mobility is a lot of things, but at the core, it's moving people from one country to the other and helping them grow, whether it's in their careers or as a person, experiencing a whole other culture and growing professionally and personally.